The following program is produced by the Tech Talk Radio Network.
This is Alice Cooper, the original Techno-Todd, and you're listening to Tech Talk Radio.
Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd.
And we are the show that's here to talk about computers,
technology,
and the internet, and games.
And games, yeah. Which we have something to talk about. We have something to talk about this week.
Always some fun. A lot of stuff, as a matter of fact. You know, and we were thinking about maybe doing one of our best ofs, and because we were getting on in the week and everything, and we just realized, no, we can't. There's just so much stuff that's
There's
happened.
a lot of stuff that happened this week. So,
all right, first off, and I know we could talk about it without getting too much flack from Justin.
Because Justin's not here.
It would be the Worldwide Developers Conference, which at record time is actually still happening. They got a couple more days, but the keynote, the last keynote that Tim Cook from Apple has been doing, and it's so weird because I follow some people in social media, and they've been posting photos of themselves with the new CEO out at the event. I'm like, this guy's really cool. He gets out there with the people and, communicates. It should be interesting to see what direction he's able to lead Apple in.
Apple spent the last 2 years telling us that Apple Intelligence was coming, right?
Right.
During WWDC 2026, they finally are trying to prove it, I guess. So the biggest announcement wasn't iOS 27, wasn't the Mac, because I was surprised a little bit. I was surprised we didn't see another Mac Neo or an update on what's coming next. Wasn't Vision Pro, which that's a thing still. Like what? Okay,
but they're still developing, right?
Right, they're still developing it, and there's at NAB this year, Blackmagic released their double lensed immersion 16K. What's the name of that camera? One of their cinema cameras. I can't even remember the name of it, but it's like they're still creating a ton of content for it because it's still there. But it's just like not into. It's weird because it's like it's there.
Yeah,
they're making it. They're spending money on it. Who's buying it? That's what I want to know. So the big topic was Siri.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because think about it. When it comes to, the Apple products, the Macintosh product, Macs, the laptops, the Neo. That stuff is good, but let's face it, something that most everybody has these days is some kind of, a communication device, a tablet, or they have, a smartphone. And, Apple really wants people to start using the iPhone. And, last week, it kind of reminded me when I was having so many problems with Gemini, which I finally got fixed. I didn't end up taking it to the store. I ended up doing a couple other things in the settings. Android, the way they set up their settings, sometimes one setting will affect another. That setting will affect it's just crazy. But I ended up getting it back to work. I got my Gemini back. And I had thought about that. I have an iPhone. I've got the 14 Pro Max. And I thought I could just go back to the iPhone. Because honestly, without the Gemini and the way that I use it, being able to get an answer to something really quick when I need it, being able to just, make my phone call, the whole bit. I thought maybe just go back to the iPhone if I'm not going to have the use. So, Apple doesn't want people to move from their iPhones to move to the Android platform because they may have a better way of AI being a part of it.
But Apple's in a hard spot, right? Because they tried to do their own AI stuff and it was garbage.
Yeah.
And it stunk. Nobody liked it. It was not integrated very well. It just it broke the seamless use of your iPhone. It broke the seamless use of the iOS environment, right? The Apple cross-platform environment. So it struggled, right? So Apple essentially admitted that traditional voice assistants weren't enough anymore. Right. And they've now completely rebuilt an AI-powered Siri. They say it's designed to be more conversational, remember context, understand what's on your screen. Mm-hmm. So again, right, so understanding what's on your screen, is this being processed locally? Is this being processed in the cloud? Where's the processing happening? Right? Is it a local language machine? Is it cloud-based? Is it? So they're trying to figure it out.
That's the answers we don't know yet, right? We just know that apparently it's going to be coming out. And that's the big question everybody has. They talk about it at these developer conferences. Microsoft used to do theirs as well, and they would talk about these things, but we might not see them for 6 months, a year, sometimes, maybe even 2 or 3 years.
Maybe we'll see it for the next, the late fall iPhone, the new iPhone release or whatever their hardware event is in September usually.
Well, they're saying they're calling it Siri AI. All right, so that's what it would be called. And they're saying that it won't be available broadly until it launches public for iOS 27, which they say could happen this fall. And, the thing is, people in the meantime, if they're suddenly needing a smartphone, will an Apple user wait? I think they will. And are Apple users going to ingest this type? Are they really interested in AI?
I don't know, right? But to me, it just feels like it's going to be the Siri is just going to be the annoying type A voice chat. Tell me what my schedule is. Write my schedule down. Give me my calendar invites. Just remind me of these things, right? It's like, last year they announced Apple Intelligence. This year they spread it throughout the entire ecosystem, right? So it's not, here's one AI app. There seems like their theme was every app should quietly get smarter. That's kind of what their theme was, right? I think that's one of the quotes directly from the show. But it's gonna be weird, right?
There was a story, Shawn, and you being an iPhone user, and it makes me wonder, and I kind of believe this. 9 to 5 Mac reported not long ago that iPhone brand loyalty hit a record high. And they say that Android users were apparently switching at 4 times the rate that they have in the past. So somebody who'd maybe been using a Samsung or a Google Pixel for a long time were suddenly going into the Apple interface and using the iPhones.
Well, I think that they are riding high on the success of the Neo.
Yeah.
Right? It's been 6 months, I think almost 6 months, maybe even longer since the Neo was announced, right? It's sold out. It's been widely popular. And you haven't seen anybody from the Windows side develop a product that can compete with the Neo at any level.
No.
Battery power, size. The Neo is the Geo Metro of the car world, right? It's the 3-cylinder little piece that just goes. Everybody's reliable. It's fuel efficient, right? And that takes loyalty, right? It's if you can get somebody to go from Windows machine to Apple, the ecosystem for your PC is tied in. So what they did this with Tahoe with iOS 26. They seamlessly integrated a cross-platform experience. Your experience is almost identical whether you're on iPad, Mac, iMac, whatever, Mac Mini, desktop, or iOS.
Right.
And to be able to seamlessly go between your messages, your music, everything seamlessly between all your apps is fantastic, right? For me, I'm in the Mac ecosystem for the majority of my work. I have Macs at home,
right.
but my primary machine at home is Windows. But my family is iPhone.
Right.
So seamlessly moving in between, the ability to AirDrop, the ability to share stuff, the ability to text, the ability to have it all stored in the iCloud. It's a great ecosystem to be in. And I'm sure Justin would say that, Google has all that and you can tie it all in, and Apple just takes what other companies have. And I think Justin would argue with me on this, but the Apple stuff just works, and it works the same every time. It doesn't change with updates. They add some new stuff, but they don't break things at the level that I think that Android does.
Right.
When they do a big update, they don't do a UI redesign that's out of control. I mean, the last big iOS update had liquid glass and a couple other features, but it's not something out of left field that makes the user go, well, that was a bad choice.
Yeah.
So
I think the iPhone is easy to use. The Pixel was good, and I mean it still works for me in doing what I need to do. But I look back and I harken back to what I was able to get done with the iPhone, especially with video. With video, I could edit, with the with the program that was a part of the iPhone. I mean, it was awesome. I love that it was all in one. It was very easy to do. The quality was always good. It was now the quality on the cameras on the Pixel got much better, and the Android obviously much better. But for what I was using, I just recently installed the Blackmagic Design app on my iPhone, and I'm really pleased with that too. It just again makes me think about it. We've heard of full movies shot on an iPhone. I don't know. We haven't heard of full movie shot on an Android.
I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what apps are. Again, I'm not in that platform, I'm not in that world, so I don't know. But I know that with iPhone, with the Blackmagic app, that allows you to unlock Blackmagic RAW. There are other applications that allow you to shoot ProRes RAW. The iPhone 17 Pro can do log. It's crazy what you can do on a phone. And there's even some hardware add-ons for phones that can give you professional outputs like SDI, HDSDI, HDMI, and then you can get those into a professional working environment, which for me would be a benefit to be able to get that into our routing system and be able to use it for our broadcasts. Would be pretty cool. Because you can tuck in an iPhone in a lot of unique spaces that you might not be able to fit a traditional broadcast camera. So
apparently, in this 9 to 5 Mac article, they asked users why they remain loyal to the Apple platform. 60.8%, quoting there, said that they simply preferred iOS. While a number also did so because they were invested in the ecosystem, about 17%, a little over that. Other reasons for preferring Apple were product reliability, ease of use, and trust in the company's privacy and security measures. And, that's the other thing. Now that they're getting into Siri AI, that question suddenly comes up now. How are they protecting our privacy when it comes to that AI that's doing the processing?
Right,
Because
exactly.
We've known iPhone as being a probably a little better secure product. Some people may disagree with me, but I think that is one of those things that people suddenly are going to have more questions is where is all that info going? Where is that data going?
Right. And maybe that's why Apple took the back burner for a little while with AI, because they saw that if they had to rely on OpenAI or Gemini to do their AI stuff, maybe they just didn't like the way it had to handle the security and the data side of it. So we'll see, right? But again, the keynote wasn't just all about Siri and the iPhone, right?
No.
And we didn't even mention what iOS 27 is going to be called.
Yeah, what is the name of it again?
Golden Gate.
Golden Gate. All right.
So the whole theme of it was very hippish, right? Hipsterish. They had, and hippie-ish, I mean, not hipsterish, but right, they had a Volkswagen drive by while he was standing up there. They did this weird like 70s disco era warping with the words and the text and stuff. And but the major themes for iOS 27 or Mac OS 27, they say it's better searches, which I don't even know what that means. They talk about on your own computer searching, because any computer user knows that when you try to search something on your own computer using the Finder or the search function on a Windows machine, it's garbage.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's awful.
It's awful. Like you never find what you're looking for.
I accidentally clicked the file. Oh, there goes my whole search.
Yeah. So faster launches. So I'm assuming they're just optimizing the UI experience. And I guess people are thrilled because you know how with Tahoe, they did they rounded everything, all the corners of the apps and stuff, but it wasn't consistent across apps. So people are apparently now across apps, it's more refined, it's streamlined. So you're not seeing weirdness between apps and window shapes and stuff like that. So people are not happy with that. Continued AI integration within Mac OS, and then the refined liquid glass visuals, but.
Now you're not using the newest iPhone. I know that aren't you on 13 or you
13 Pro. So little history on my history with Apple, right? So I bought an original. So if you go all the way back to 2008, that's when I bought my first iPhone.
Oh, wow.
I bought a used iPhone 3G.
I remember those.
But I was just out of college. I think I was 23. and I didn't have a whole huge line of established credit, and the only vendor you could get cell phone service was AT&T.
Yeah.
So I took the phone to AT&T, and I was like, "Hey, I'm on Alltel, which is now Verizon.
Yeah.
I bought an iPhone and I want to switch." And they're like, "Okay, great." So they ran my credit, and they're like, "It's going to cost you $500 to open a line with us
Wow.
because you don't have any credit." I was like, "What do you mean it's going to cost me $500? Like, I have the phone." And they're like, "Yeah, well, you don't have any credit. We can't guarantee you're not just like you can't." I mean, I was 23, so like they just looking at me like I was some dumb kid.
Yeah.
So I said, "All right, deuces, see ya, I'm out."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I walked away. So then I used it as an iPod, took pictures with it, put my pictures, played music on it, connected it to Wi-Fi. It was great. It was a glorified video iPod at that point. And then I didn't buy an iPhone again until 2011 when I bought the iPhone 4S.
Yeah.
Right. And then I didn't buy another iPhone. I think I upgraded to the 5, maybe.
Yeah.
In between. Then I didn't buy another iPhone until the 7 Plus.
Wow.
Which would have been 2016, 2015. Yeah. And then from then I didn't buy one until 2023 when I got the iPhone 13 Pro.
Right.
So I've been doing multiple generational jumps with my iPhones, and I've been fine with it.
Yeah.
Right. Everything I do on the iPhone 13 Pro, I don't need the 17 Pro. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't need to spend the money on it. This phone until this phone doesn't support the next upgrade, I'm not moving. I'm not changing.
I heard in a news story, and I'm kind of wondering when they talked about, again, back to Siri, they talked about Siri AI. I heard one of the reporters say, more than likely it won't work on older devices. And I'm thinking, okay, wait, you've got to clarify that, because a lot of us hold on to our iPhones for many generations.
Many.
So we don't, are they talking the 7? Are they talking 14?
The 11.
No. Yeah. So which one are they talking about?
Right. So they're saying that this iOS 27 will support all the way back to the iPhone 11.
Oh, good. All right.
So, which is cool. I mean, that's pretty far back. So it's crazy to think they've got to optimize for that chipset and the ability to run it. And
so the big question for you, Shawn, being a 13 user, even though iOS 27 would more than likely work on your device, would you at this point, 13, 14, 15, 16, would you look at going to a 17? No.
I have no incentive to buy it.
Right.
And with all of my iPhones, I've bought them from Apple directly. I've not bought them from Verizon. I don't want to be locked into a Verizon 2-year, 3-year agreement, whatever. I buy them directly from Apple. I get Apple Care. I do everything through Apple, and it's worked glorious for me for the last, I mean, I've had an iPhone for 2 decades at this point, almost. Right? So it's crazy to think, but I'm just that rooted in the Apple ecosystem that it would be very difficult for me to move from the Apple ecosystem. But no, I'm not. I don't plan on upgrading. I don't, unless there's nothing that is driving me to upgrade.
Now, I'm wondering for anybody sitting on the fence right now that is listening, going, I've thought about going to iPhone. I don't know. Is there good cohesion when you have a tablet? Like, you go and you buy yourself, the iPad. iPads are pretty amazing. I mean, you could do a lot of stuff with the iPads. And then you say, well, if I get an iPhone, does the iPhone work well with the iPad?
Yes.
Or is it, or pretty much that's its own thing?
It's the same. It's literally feels and looks the same.
Right.
You can enable them to receive calling through your Apple ID. So you can do all your FaceTiming, audio FaceTiming. You can take phone calls on it. You can mirror your phone to it. If you have an entire Apple ecosystem, it's seamless across the applications. You can pick up certain things and certain apps across devices. You can share it. So like if I'm doing something in Facebook, like if I was on Facebook or Instagram or something, I can pick it up right up in the iPad, and then you can enable it to do it on your Mac. So that if you sit down at your Mac, you can go seamlessly right into if you're using Chrome in your bookmarks, you can seamlessly pick up where you were left off in Chrome on your Mac or on your iPad or on your iPhone. Sharing in between them is pretty seamless with AirDrop and the iCloud and stuff like that. So it's a great ecosystem, but it's kind of, once you're in, it's a little culty. Won't lie, right? It's like once you're in, and it's not very easy to get out without some pain and suffering. So
I think that's kind of what Justin, and he's not here to defend himself, but I think that's kind of why he feels that way, because he's been around, those users at work where he has worked that were strictly iPhone. That was it. iPhone, iPad, Mac. That's the way it was. And, he came from a Windows environment, and he may have been an Apple user for a little while too. And, he may have had to break out of that.
Yeah. I mean, my in-laws have Android. They have the newest Pixel. My brother and sister-in-law have Pixels. I've got other friends that are adamant that they'll never buy an Apple device or Apple phone.
Because I really wouldn't mind the Neo. I mean, the Neo, I think that would be a good starting ground for somebody who decides, maybe I want to try the Mac. I want to see how that software could work for me.
I think what you're going to see with the Neo is, I think it's going to be a education level Chromebook killer.
Yeah.
I think it's enough of a jump from a Chromebook that you get a little bit of a better performance boost. It's priced right for education. It's got the Mac. It's a little bit more beat up. You can abuse it a little bit more. But
the only thing is the difference in price, though, because you can buy a basic Chromebook, a basic educational laptop for about $349, where you're going to spend about $600 for. You're going to be paying $600 for this one.
Yeah, but have you used a Chromebook? They're so slow and dog. And once you put them into enrollment and management and stuff, they just get so god awful slow.
So for the speed increase, it's certainly worth it for the Neo.
Yeah, I think so. And I've used a Neo, and it's weird to use it. There's a few different things that when I had my hands on my coworker bought a Neo day one.
Right.
There's no backlit keyboard.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. So there's no light coming through the letters on the keyboard. So in the dark, it's really hard to see. Now he's got the Cobalt version, which is the darker bluish gray version, and it's impossible to see the keys.
Oh boy.
At night. And the other weird thing was too, they call them the side firing speakers, right? So the speakers are not, on new other MacBooks, like the speakers are either up by the screen or along the side of the like the keyboard surface.
Right.
This one, there's like grooves along the sides of the chassis that the sound comes out the sides, like the left and the right side.
Right.
So if you're a normal typer, and if you can see my hands, like your hands are straight out, right? So you're typing. Yeah. So if you're typing while you're listening to music or something, I sat down at my coworker's Neo and was just typing, going to Google, just playing around. And I was like, man, why does this sound so weird? Because he was like touting, it's the best sounding MacBook I've ever heard. And
right.
And I'm using it, and I don't know if I'm a chicken winger or what, right? But when I type on a keyboard, my elbows are out to my sides, right? So as soon as I put my arms onto the knee, if you're following along, Andy and I are both putting our arms out like I'm typing.
Yeah.
So I rest like my forearms on the keyboard and then type, right? So I fat palm the keypad, the trackpad all the time. As soon as I put my arms down over the edge of the computer, it completely changed the dynamic of the sound.
Oh.
Because my arms were over the edges and the sound was now going either forward or backwards and not out to the sides anymore, because it had to go around my arms.
Yep.
And it changed the dynamic. It changed the way I heard spoken word. It changed the way I heard the music, and it was driving me nuts. I couldn't figure out why it sounded like crap.
Yeah. And
then I picked up my arms. I was like, oh, that sounds better. Oh, and then I put my arms back down, picked my arms back up. So I don't know it. For me, that was enough for me to go, I don't, it was a weird, like, audio visual thing where I was trying to, like, listening to something on the screen. I'm going, why does that sound weird? Oh, moving my arms changed the way I was hearing and perceiving the audio from the Neo. And it was weird. So,
all right, we're going to take a quick break. We come back. Listener questions. We've got a couple of great ones today we'll share with you. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd. Find us on the web at TechtalkRadio.com or your favorite podcasting platform. We'll be right back.
Now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Tech Talk Radio.
Hello.
Hello. This segment is one I always like, and we always get some of the best questions from our viewers.
We've been lucky.
Like, we've got some great people out there, and they ask really, like, we spend whole segments talking about one question, and like sometimes they don't even get an answer, or they get a million answers. It's great.
We try.
And we get positive. It's great when you talk to somebody about one of their questions, and then they write back saying how much they like. They're like, "Oh, the answer was great," and like, I feel like we should bring somebody on the show that asks the questions.
I do. I also like the questions, and feel free to drop us a line anytime. It's techguys@techtalkradio.com. Because we post a lot of the videos up on socials, whether it be YouTube, TikTok, and there's some great minds out there. They'll go on there and they'll actually give us their thoughts. And, we've answered a question before and we've had a couple of people jump in and I'll go, oh, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
That's actually a good, and we'll share that on the show too. So, sometimes it's combination of minds sometimes come up with a better way and through experience of actually doing this stuff.
Yeah, so today's question comes from Laura.
All right.
In Tucson, and she says, "Hi, I have a potential question for the show. I'm going to be traveling and originally wanted to get a laptop so I could work while away for 2 weeks, but now I was thinking I could be able to do it on a tablet. I connect to a PC at work through a VPN they set up. What would be better, a tablet or a laptop? The one I have now is a 17-inch screen HP that is super heavy. Your suggestions?" Laura in Tucson.
Ooh, wow.
My question would be, the first one is, are you doing the work? Like, do you connect to the VPN and do your work through the VPN, or are you remote desktoping into a computer that you're doing the work on?
I think it's remote desktoping this way. If she's doing
that would seem pretty impossible on a tablet.
Yeah.
Because I've done remote desktoping, and sure, if you use the app, it's great. You can full screen, and it feels like you're running a regular computer. But I just don't know how natural it would feel on a tablet.
Unless the program that Laura's using is an app. So, like, if she connects to her desktop, and she has to open an app, and she opens that normally on her desktop, then she would be doing that there. But then you have to think about this. It's a tablet. You've got the on-screen keyboard. It's not the same as sitting at a desk with a keyboard. Yeah, you could have a Bluetooth keyboard. Logitech makes a great keyboard for working with your tablets, whether it be, an iPad or a Samsung tablet. But I don't know about that.
But a 17-inch HP, that's huge.
That's pretty.
That's a behemoth of a laptop, right?
Yeah.
So slimming down your laptop maybe to a 13 or 14 inch, right? Because like, if I think about the way I work remotely, if I'm working remotely, it's like I connect to the VPN, and then I can just get to all the web URLs I need to internally through Chrome. I can do all my work that way. I can see stuff on our internal network at work the same way I would if I was sitting at my computer at work, versus remote desktoping to my computer at work, which just seems like 5 extra steps to get, like, I don't want to remote connect to a computer. If that makes sense, right? So if you can achieve everything you can just by using a web browser and you're doing that kind of work, but if you're controlling another PC, I feel like I'd want just for a visualizer, right, for a little bit more robust hardware. And if you're remote, right, the other thing you have to rely on is, are you going to have stable internet everywhere you go?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So you're traveling. Great. No problem. Right. Okay. You get to a hotel and their Wi-Fi is 2 meg up, 5 meg down or something stupid. Right.
Right.
Is that enough to control your remote desktop with the quality that you need to see to be able to do your work, right? Okay, maybe you have Starlink, maybe you have Starlink Mobile, and you can get 500-600 meg or a little bit less and reliable. Like, fine, great, but if you're traveling, it's hard, right? You're so up in the air with, okay, well, if you need to work, okay, well, now I'm hotspotting my phone, and then I'm connecting to the VPN through my phone, and it's just it's harder to be reliable with traveling. So you got to keep that in mind too, right? So unless you're going to have dedicated good internet everywhere, right? You just got to keep that in mind too. So,
and let's face it, if she's carrying around a 17-inch HP laptop, that is it's going to be heavy. The A16 that we looked at from Asus, that weighs about 2.5 pounds. I'm not getting, Shawn, I can't tell you enough. I picked this laptop up and what's in it? I'm like, it feels like there's nothing in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the new, kind of the new idea. There's other laptops on the market that might weigh about 3 pounds, maybe 3.5 pounds, that as far as a laptop, I wouldn't go with a 12-inch. If I'm doing remote work, I want to have at least a 15 or 16-inch screen.
So, right, in my experience, right, as somebody who's worked as a video professional for the last 2 decades, I always felt like I needed a 17-inch screen. Like, I was like, oh, I need all the real estate I can get to do all my video editing, my photo editing, etc. Right? And sure, maybe back when 17-inch MacBooks were the rage and they required an immense amount of power, and they had to be that big so they could cool. They used themselves as their own aluminum heatsink back in the day. Sure, great. But as time has progressed and the editing software has gotten better and more streamlined for smaller resolutions, higher bit depth and higher pixel density, but larger resolutions, or smaller resolutions, I mean.
Yeah.
They've gotten better. So I don't think I would tell my past self, you don't need anything more than 14-inch.
Right.
Right. I work on a MacBook Pro, but it's a 13-inch. I think. Maybe it's a 14-inch. I don't know. Yeah. It's the smallest MacBook Pro you can get. I do have a cinema display at work that I connected to when I sit down.
Oh, there you go.
An older cinema display, so I thunderbolt to the cinema display, and I can have 2 screens at the same time. But it's the convenience of being able to slide it into my backpack and carry it and not feel like I'm being burdened by a behemoth.
Yeah.
And especially if you're traveling and, okay, you want to get some remote work done. Okay, you're at a coffee shop, or you're, sitting at the table in an RV, which aren't necessarily that big, or you're trying to sit at a hotel desk, which aren't always that big.
Right.
That 17-inch, that's huge. Like, that's a behemoth. So maybe consider downscaling your laptop size to a smaller one. Again, not ruling out a tablet. Just you have to look at the workflow of how you're connecting to things, right?
What about this? Yeah. What about this idea? I was just thinking about the Surface. Microsoft Surface, which is basically, Windows basically on a tablet. I've not used a Surface, so I don't know.
Yeah, I have, right? So it depends. Again, it depends. But Surfaces are prohibitively expensive. Microsoft Surfaces are expensive, and they're actually almost phasing them out. If you look onto the Surface website, like, the Surface it was a niche product for a long time in education. It served a purpose in education. We have several that we use, but they're phasing out. Like, the all-in-ones are kind of just not a thing anymore, right? It's like people don't want, like, desktops are a thing for certain avenues. Like, there's a niche market for desktop machines now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if a Surface would be. You could get a Surface, but you might not be able to get one. You might not be able to find what you want for the price point you want, right? But again, workflow it. Figure out if the tablet's going to work.
Right.
If you're working just in data entry and you're doing web-based, HTML5 based stuff where you can be in web browsers and do it all through web browsers, maybe that's going to be fine on a tablet. But I just don't know if you're going to get the experience.
All right, here's something else, and I kind of wonder about this. Before you go and buy a laptop or a tablet, you obviously, it sounds to me like you have an IT person, if you've got a VPN and you've been able to connect, previously, there's somebody that controls like the IT experience at work. Talk to the IT person. If you can get a chance just to sit down with them and say, listen, I got this laptop, this is a behemoth, I want to downsize. What would you recommend? Maybe even ask them if a tablet could work in your environment, because there may be limitations. There may be, things that we're not considering here that could affect how you're going to be able to work if you're, working remotely.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is go buy a tablet, and then your IT department says, yeah, you can't run the VPN on that.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines, right? It's like it doesn't run Windows, and you can only have Windows devices, or so forth, so on. So you may want to consult your own IT department also.
Yeah.
And as a fellow IT professional, like they love answering these kind of questions, right? So
yeah. Even if the IT people are like those two guys in War Games, if you remember War Games.
Yeah,
that was the epitome of IT. Although there's that show, Amanda turned me on to that show. The IT Crowd, the IT Crowd on BBC. Just a great show. I love that one.
Yeah,
that was good. All right, so hopefully that could help Laura out. Let us know which route you end up going, and if you need any advice on specific models, feel free to reach out to us, because I know that Lenovo, Asus, who are some of the big players.
Don't discount MacBook Air. Right.
Yeah, well,
if you're traveling, a MacBook Air is it's small, it's light, it's fast.
All right. Well,
an M5 MacBook Air is going to be incredible for something like this.
All right. Well, here's the thing though. What if she's in a PC interface at her desktop at work? Could a MacBook Air connect and run an app?
You can get Microsoft Remote Desktop from the Apple Store. So yes, I do it all the time at work. You can run Remote Desktop as an app. It works great. I've done it. So yes, you can do it on a Mac.
Anytime you have a question, feel free to reach out to us, techguys@techtalkradio.com. If we can answer it for you, we certainly will. We've got another one standing by that we will take on, and brand new product, really cool product, especially if you like shooting video. I know, Shawn, that's right up your alley.
And we've talked about their competitors on the show.
So we'll do that with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd. You can find us on Facebook at Tech Talkers. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
We talked a little bit about a new product that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
And this is a good one. And I want to talk about it because I like to do the video and the photography stuff, because it's part of my world. It's something I've been in for a long time. For years, right, DJI has kind of strangleheld the market on a few different technology pieces, right? One of those being the stabilized handheld camera.
The gimbal, right?
The handheld gimbal, right? Mobile, the Osmo, the handheld, the Osmo Mobile, and then the Osmo Pocket, and then the DJI Pocket. They basically
DJI the first, John, or was it GoPro, or do we know?
Oh, they've kind of all blended together over the years.
Yeah.
GoPro had their own little one that worked with GoPro,
right?
Like their drone, it didn't do very well. But DJI's kind of been the one, right? And they've just owned the pocket gimbal camera market. But Insta360 has caught up significantly, and out of nowhere, like it was like DJI everything, right? And then all of a sudden, Insta360 came in and just exploded, because they've been doing a ton with 360 cameras, right? Like the X4. They're now doing a direct challenge with the Pocket Osmo World in that Pocket handheld gimbal mode with the Luna Ultra. That's what they're calling this, the Luna Ultra.
Ooh.
It's a Leica co-engineered pocket camera.
Now, for those who don't know, Leica is
a German photography company that is known for its superior glass and superior lensing and stuff like that, right? So you have two powerhouse companies in the camera world, Hasselblad and Leica.
Oh yeah.
And they are now competing for the same market, right? Because the DJI Pocket Osmo stuff is with Hasselblad, and I think they did some stuff with Zeiss. But the Hasselblad stuff is incredible, right? They're known for their medium format cameras, stuff like that. But so this looks like it was designed specifically to try and steal DJI customers, right?
Yeah.
So what exactly is the Luna Ultra? Who's it for? And will it actually will it be a competitor, right? So
From everything we've been seeing so far with this, the Luna Ultra, it looks like it certainly could be.
yeah, I agree.
It really has some great features until you put it into real world testing. But Insta360 is kind of, they've built a great name for themselves.
They've got the influencer following, right? They are the Kleenex of the influencer world, right? It's like it's just tissue, right? But everybody knows it's Kleenex, right? But it's a brand, right? Everybody knows that if you're shooting something as an influencer, you're using Insta360, right?
Yeah.
That's just kind of the staple. It's become you're an influencer, you shoot with an Insta360. It's kind of becoming the standard for. That's what you're seeing, right? It's just because they latched on to the 360 view, and they kind of made the workflow work and made it easy to shoot on a 360 camera, and made it easy to edit, to break down, to control the content, to put it up. GoPro and DJI struggled to make it a user experience. So I feel like if it's easy and it's fast, that's going to take a lot of people.
And the quality's good.
Right.
Here's the thing. When social media just started erupting and, we started to hear the term influencers, it was people with great graphics, great image. And then we started getting into the video world, and people were basically on their webcam, just looking right directly into the camera. And as that's progressed, we've seen some really creative creators that are out there that are doing so much cool stuff with video. Yeah, and whether they're using the tools of the trade, whether they're using, like Adobe, or they're using DaVinci, or they're using some of the many other software programs that are out there, there have been some creators they're doing even more with video now, even surpassing, I'm just going to say it, surpassing what they might see on broadcast. As far as broadcast television, doing it in social format. Mm-hmm. And now they are looking for quality like a Hasselblad, some of even Sony, they're looking for the quality to create these videos, because a bad video, if it looks bad, will cause a scroll. Yes. With so many videos out there, you got 10 seconds, sometimes 5 to grab somebody. And if your video looks good and it's compelling, and the quality of the video is good, these creators that I've seen on here, I just go, wow, this stuff is great.
Yeah. So what is the Luna Ultra, right?
Yeah.
So it's the 360's first dedicated handheld gimbal camera, right? So their first not 360 camera. It's got 3-axis stabilized gimbal, the dual Leica engineered cameras, 8K compatible recording, 8K, right? AI subject tracking, which I've never. The AI is just, it's a buzzword for this at this point. It says a detachable touchscreen controller, so I have to look into that a little bit more. But The Verge said that they kind of quoted it as like a hybrid between a DJ Pocket Osmo and a miniature cinema camera. So being able to do some cool stuff, right? So the dual camera system, it's a 1-inch main sensor. 1-inch main sensor. That's insane.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be bigger than the Pocket Osmo. Right. So if you're looking for miniature, like the Pocket Osmo is still going to be your smallest. The Osmo is a little bit bigger, but the DJI Pocket is a little bit smaller. And it says it has a dedicated telephoto camera with optical zoom, which optical zoom is clearly a benefit, right? Because you're not you're not adding any digital noise or pixels or whatever. But it says it can do 8K at 30 frames a second.
Wow. All right.
That's crazy. And it'll say it'll do 10-bit log, which is crazy for an editor to be able to have that level of color quality. And then it has custom Leica color profiles. So you're getting a tried and true color platform that Leica is known for.
For somebody who
So,
doesn't know, like, all right, so you've got this gimbal, it's handheld, and you got the camera that's on it. If you were walking behind somebody, or walking to an event, and the problem is before, if you did it on a smartphone, you'd see the camera moving. It's like bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. With the gimbal, it provides a stabilization for the shot, so you don't get that feeling like I'm walking somewhere. It's just you're gliding over there. I saw a creator the other day, and normally you would think they would acquire it through a drone shot, where a drone flies through a restaurant, goes through a door, goes through. No, instead it's somebody basically on roller skates holding it and skating through the different areas and holding the gimbal, and it just looked amazing. The footage was great. So this gives you that freedom, that flow, that stabilization, so you don't have shaky shots, and it's good quality. I mean, that's good.
yeah. So I'm reading a little bit more about this detachable OLED screen.
Yeah. All right.
It's a 2-inch OLED touchscreen that can detach and become a wireless remote with live monitoring. How is that? Like, what? That's insane.
So that means like somebody, like if you had a director, or sound
you're
guy
trying to do,
whatever.
or if you set it up and you want to control it, so better solo filming, self recording is easier, flexible camera placement,
Yeah.
right? The only thing that they could knock this out of the park with is if they added the ability to control more than one.
Well, yeah, like a switcher almost.
Yeah. So imagine being able to place the camera across the room and framing it from my hand.
Right.
Framing up for interviews, but that's something DJI doesn't offer, right? That's not something you can do with the DJI right now. So
Right.
I feel like they don't offer an equivalent.
How about pricing on it? We've seen it. It's going to be under $800. Is that kind of in line?
That's for a stabilized 8K camera. Yeah, that's right about where it's at. $770. So
Right.
it's positioned as a premium creator tool right now, right? But it's not ideal, right? So obviously there's cons, right? It's not ideal for if you're a rugged, if you're doing anything rugged, outdoorsy, weather related, or if you need waterproof, not it.
Yeah.
And it's not budget friendly. So at $770.
Right.
So
I also wonder too, we've seen DJI, we've seen, some of the other companies have been affected by, the inability to be able to import into the country. This does not fall under that. But this one from Insta360. So that will be available here in the United States. So for anybody listening here, they should be able to buy that, correct?
yeah.
Because it's not going to have those limitations. At least that's what I was seeing, that it would be available. So I'm hoping that will be the case. But Insta360 is, if you're ever driving down the road and you're wondering why is that stick sticking up out of that RV, on the end of that stick is a camera,
Right.
and it's capturing 360 degrees.
Right. Which I was talking about a little bit earlier was that Insta360 has made it so you can just stick a 360 camera up, right? And then you get into their editing platform and you could pick and choose what you're seeing out of that 360 and use it, right? Anybody that's watched YouTube has seen it, where they show an angle and then all of a sudden you can see a different angle and then they pan and swish and move. It's an interesting concept that I've worked with in the 360 world. I've done time lapses with it and stuff, and it wasn't easy to break into that. But if you did it well, you have to edit the content down, right? There's no benefit to try and get somebody to try and watch live 360 degree content, right? I tried it. It's impossible for somebody on their phone. Like, everybody's doing it on their phones, right? So imagine trying to curate live 360 content, and all of a sudden you have people trying to watch it.
Yeah.
Spinning their phone around and doing all this weird stuff. So it's not curated for live content. So I'm curious to see where they go with that. And they're clearly aiming for a piece of the market that DJI has had a firm grasp on since they announced the Osmo back in 2014, 2013 even. Maybe even a little bit earlier than that, right? So the Osmo has been a fantastic platform.
Oh yeah.
And the thing that so talking about the Osmo, the thing that they didn't mention with the Insta360 is any capability of being able to do live streaming from it. So can you from there do an RTMP stream or connect to Facebook or connect to from the Pocket?
Oh.
I'm not sure. So I'll have to look into that to see if there's, because some of the older Osmos versions through the app and through the phone, if you connect it to your phone, you could live stream a stream from to an RTMP feed. Or so I'm just curious. I'm going to have to look that up because that's not something that's mentioned in any of the articles I was reading about it.
All right. Well, if you want to get more info, you jump on the web, go to Insta, INSTA 360.com. You'll find out about the app as well as the different programs. I want to say too, something that I saw this week. I have a, DJI mini drone. I had no idea that on the smartphone with the DJI app, you can actually practice drone flights. I don't know if you've known this because I know you don't you have one too? You have a DJI, don't you?
I do.
Yeah. And I was flying through rings to practice flying with my smartphone, although I have the controllers with my drone, but it still was kind of cool to be able to do. And it was fun. It was like a game I was playing, flying the drone. So that's something you might want to look into. All right. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. We'll answer Rick's question. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube at Tech Talk Radio and find us on your favorite podcasting platform. We'll be right back.
And now, back to Tech Talk Radio.
Hey, this is Harold Perrineau, and you're listening to the Geeks on the Radio, Tech Talk Radio.
Well, welcome back to the show. All right, so we were gonna answer Rick's question here, and I will tell you, Rick's question is about AI and AI generating photos and stuff like that. Rick, we're going to cover your question next week on the show because there's something we need to mention with Father's Day just around the corner. If you were thinking about getting Dad a Steam gift card. Here's something to think about. Shawn and I were talking about this earlier on the show. So if you're explain, Shawn, what Steam is.
Steam is a gaming platform, right? It's made by a company called Valve. And you can buy games. It's a gaming platform, right? You buy games. Developers can sell their games on Steam, but you can get gift cards for them. And the Steam gift cards specifically have been the target for in-person scams.
Yeah.
Meaning you get called by somebody with a very realistic American accent and says, "Oh, my sister is in the hospital and I need money, but the only way I can get it is if I send you money and you buy me a gift card."
Jeez.
And so there's the whole scam about go buy gift cards for Apple or go buy gift cards for Amazon or Steam, etc. And so Valve came out and said, "We've been so inundated with scams on our physical gift cards, we're going to be done. We're just not going to sell them anymore." And I'm sure it's going to be a huge cost savings. It's weird, right? You don't think gift cards cost any money, right? But to produce them, to sell them, to ship them, to logistics, etc., like there's probably a whole department of people that work on just curating physical gift cards. So it's probably going to save them a ton of money, but it could also save you from being scammed by physical gift cards. So
during the holidays, I was in the store and the woman in front of me was buying Steam gift cards. And I remember asking her, I said, "Oh, for your kids?" She goes, "No, my husband. He loves playing games, so this will make him happy." So again, here's the thing with Father's Day coming around, you could still get them. All right. You could still buy them, the physical gift cards. If you go into a retailer, make sure, all the precautions are in effect whenever you buy a gift card of any type. But Valve is saying that if they're still in stores, they could still sell them, but that's it. They're not producing anymore. You can still redeem the existing physical gift cards that you've bought, but by the end of this year, they will be gone. They're ceasing production on them. So you won't be able to buy them, which is kind of a shame if you were hoping to get some for Father's Day. You've got a birthday coming up. What would you like for your birthday?
Oh, man, that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
So this past week, the Nintendo Direct this past Monday came out. Oh, my God. I'm definitely getting a Switch too this summer. So Star Fox they did a Star Fox for the Switch 2. They announced the Ocarina of Time remake.
Oh boy.
Which is,
Yeah.
I told everybody when it got leaked, I was like, if they announce an Ocarina of Time remake, there is nothing on this planet, in this world, in this universe that will stop me from buying a Switch 2. So
there you go. All right. Well, listen, have a great birthday. I know you're going to be out next week. Going to do some camping, do some fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to be 40 the next time we record the show. So
big 4. So next time you join us, you'll be 40. You'll be in that 40 group.
I'm going to be sliding down the hill. I'm going to be over the other side. I'll be over the hill.
Well, have a great birthday, and thank you for tuning in to Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeerd. Have a great week.